It's so weird because like I only think of like, well, what did I do in the last couple days? I don't think about the whole year at a time, and sometimes things happen in a year that's like, oh, wait, that was this year. I felt like it was forever ago.
Hmm.
So anyway, I think my biggest success for this year was I was able to pull off you guys all going to Freedom Fest without me. Um,
Yeah.
because that was
That's actually non-trivial. That's a good
no,
point.
I mean, it's not. On the one hand, obviously I'm being facetious, but I think it speaks to the cohesiveness and strength of our team that it doesn't depend on one person to be there, that everybody can handle it. Norm, I bet if neither of us were there, our team could have handled it just fine and done really, really
Yep,
well. And
I
because
think so.
our team does really, really well. Another highlight of my year was doing the book clubs, which was something we started in 2023, kind of at the tail end there, but they really kind of got going through the year. It was an interesting experiment, and we're going to keep going. It's not like, well, we're done experimenting, we're doing it. But for me, it was like, well, let's just see how this goes. And every month we had a good core group of people, and a couple newbies almost every month, where they would join Cody and me most of the time, and sometimes me and sometimes just Cody, to talk about books that were of interest to libertarian Christians, and in many ways just to Christians sometimes, but that we thought, this will influence our Christian theology in a way that will help us be better libertarians. And so that's always been really nice, to kind of have those conversations. It's not just me reading a book and being like, well, all right, I think I agree with this author, and I didn't like this one chapter, but I could always count on Cody to dash my hopes that this guy was right on one particular chapter, and he would come in and be like, well, I don't know about this, and I'd be like, oh, well, that's really challenging. So there's that sort of iron sharpens iron, and it wasn't just Cody; it was also people like Brian, who is here. And Brian, I think you've been to every book club this year, so if not every single one, but most of them, you've been ever present this year, and I've really appreciated your input and your participation, because, like I said, iron sharpens iron. I think that's been really helpful for me personally and for us as even a team. I think it sort of disseminates to an extent to what we want to talk about, what we write about, how we communicate online, those kinds of things. So we're going to keep continuing to do the book clubs in 2025, and yeah, so those are kind of the two highlights for me. Trying to think, Norm, is there anything that I'm like forgetting that I just should be remembering? I don't know.
Well, I think the participation in Theology by the Pint, that was going to be one of mine too.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
a
yeah.
is
The thing
a
that caused me the most nerves, to have the most nerves throughout the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all knew. I don't know if we republished the episode because I don't think we did. It was very specific to the election, so by the time we had audio for it, Trump had won, and whatever.
And
So
nobody cared anymore.
and
No.
nobody cared. No, well, I mean, that's not that's not
That's
not
not true.
entirely inaccurate. That's
That's
not
not
entirely
true.
inaccurate. So, yeah, no. So back in, when was it? I guess it was October. I was able to be part of a panel discussing who Christians should vote for, and there were two people on the panel of five advocating for voting for Kamala Harris, two people on a panel advocating for voting for Donald Trump, and I got to play very coyly that I was going to possibly vote and sort of represent the alternate view that I know a lot of people, and it was validated after the fact, in the crowd were very much torn over whether or not they should vote for Donald Trump or for Kamala Harris, because they were just torn over this whole, like, both are bad options, etc. And there was enough that I said that have them interested in what our views are as libertarians, and so
Yeah.
that took place in Houston. It was, I would say, a pretty successful event. It was, I would say, for me, a personal milestone because I was able to live into a way of articulating what I wanted to say in as few words as possible, which is often very difficult for me to do. I often sort of try to find my words as I'm talking, and I didn't have to do that night, very much at all, and that was probably a major growth point for me. So, yeah.
Doug 100% had the best zingers of the night. We need those clips, Doug. Get it done.
Yeah, no, I should. My favorite. I don't know which one stood out to you, Norm, and but
Oh,
for
the one
me
on
it
free
was.
speech.
Oh
That was
yeah,
freaking
I just
legendary.
interrupted the people on the Democratic side talking about how important free speech was, and I was just like, "What? How are you voting for
Did
Kamala
you
Harris if you're in
did you
favor of free
remand your
speech?"
candidate of that or something?
Yeah,
I mean, it
right.
was just
So
it was
no, I was
so
like,
on point.
yeah. So anyway, no, that was good. I was really happy with the performance as much as I was nervous even going into it pretty significantly, which is a big thing. So yeah.